My vision was to create a company from a green site to produce prestige wine and in the end to develop some sort of mark in the wine industry. My family have been in it for 200 years. I'm the last of the Penfold winemakers. The traditional great wines of the world have got a sense of place, and that's what we have to do here.
The history of Penley Estate is the history of Australian wine. Kim Tolley is descended from two of Australia's most famous winemaking families, the Penfolds and the Tolleys.
My first ancestor, Dr. Christopher Penfold, planted grapevines to produce wine for medical purposes in 1844. My other ancestors, the Tolleys, purchased the Phoenix Winemaking Company to produce brandy in 1888.
60 years ago, the two family trees intertwined when Kim's mother, a Penfold, married a Tolley. It was the great coming together of two wineries by marriage, not merger. The Penfolds went on to become famous for red wines, while the Tolleys became famous for brandy. Kim is one of the last members of either family to carry on the grape growing and winemaking tradition.
Something I may never have started without the backing and encouragement of my sisters. With two of the most famous names in Australian wine and over 160 years of heritage, the great challenge has been to make a name for Penley and for myself.
Kim Tolley began his 15 years of training at the family's Penfolds vineyard, where he studied winemaking under the legendary Max Schubert, creator of Penfolds Grange. Working in the Grange vineyard, Kim learnt the value of traditional as well as modern methods, as striving not just for a great wine, but the world's best.
I honestly think that Kim wishes to continue the Penfold involvement in winemaking, which was started so many years ago.
At the Penfolds Grange vineyard, I fell in love with that unique Coonawarra character. Coonawarra being one of the great red wine producing areas of the world, and I was determined to take advantage of that cool climate and limestone-based soils to produce my own slice of history.
So it's no surprise that when Kim Tolley's journey from apprentice to independent winemaker ended, he moved in 1988 to his own patch of precious Coonawarra Terra Rossa to found Penley Estate, and endeavours to live up to that daunting family winemaking legacy. Today, Penley Estate may be one of the newer wineries in South Australia's Coonawarra region, but the rich heritage of the Penfold and Tolley family genes seems to have come flooding through. Robert Parker, the world's most famous wine critic, says, Penley Estate is one of the finest Coonawarra producers, fashioning wines of greater richness, nuance and ageing potential than most of its peers. James Halliday of the Australian Wine Companion says, Penley Estate produces a succession of rich, full-bodied red wines and stylish Chardonnays, ranks as one of the best wineries in the Coonawarra.
I've a passion for wine that infuses every bottle we produce. The wines are not just made, we create them. Created from our estate grown fruit, made in our estate winery, and there's no surprise there's a story behind every Penley label. The Phoenix is our classic Coonawarra Cabernet with outstanding depth, style and finesse. The symbol it carries represents the rebirth of our family's winemaking tradition. Everything I love about this beautiful district is captured in each and every glass. The cassis, the aromatics, the smoky oat notes and textures. This Cabernet ticks all the boxes. The Highland Shiraz gets its unicorn drawing from the Penfold family crest and takes its name from Thomas Hyland, who married the daughter of Dr. Penfold in 1860. Hyland is testament to my long-held view that Coonawarra can produce truly top-notch Shiraz from low-yielding crops. It's a variety that Coonawarra was originally famous for.
The Chertsey demonstrates that while Kim respects history, he's not bound by it. Unlike Kim's other wines, it is co-fermented and is a blend of the great Bordeaux varieties, all adding complexity. Robert Parker scored it 92 out of 100. A wine inspired by Kim's father's love of Cabernet and a name inspired by Kim's grandparents' house, called Chertsey.
The Penley Estate Griffin Merlot was a calculated experiment at the time, but was awarded the best Merlot in Australia in the 2008 Penguin Wine Guide.
Kim Tolley, take a bow. Masterfully delivered, it looks complex and complete. 94 out of 100.
The finest grapes grown every year and our very best French oak barrels are kept aside for our reserve Cabernet, which of course is the Penley Estate flagship and the inspiration for me to establish a winery of my own.
The other statement wine is the Special Select Shiraz, the Traveller. Unlike many Australian Shiraz, this wine does not have lashings of oak or jammy fruit. The Special Select shows character and avoids simplicity. The Penley Estate hand-picked Chardonnay is named Aradia, after the daughter in Greek mythology of the sun and the moon. It's a wine designed for the grape flavours to shine, not the oak and the butter. It's so harmoniously combined, it eclipses many of the world's finest Chardonnays. Aradia also reflects the duality of Penley, the Tolleys and the Penfolds, the sun and the moon, and their effects on the cycle of life.
You'll recognise every bottle by a large golden sun, depicting the sun-warm red Coonawarra soil and the power and intensity of what I put into every bottle.
While Penley's red wines are matured in oak, it's not overpowering. Kim strives for overall harmony and balance in the acid, tannin and oak combination, which explains the subtle complexity of flavour, colour and aroma that are exhibited in the glass. Having family roots in winemaking helps, but not as much as the soil upon which your vines are planted. In Coonawarra, it's 18 inches of rich red topsoil, which helps create the complex berry fruits, and the limestone adds both spice and minerality to the wine. And in the cold, wet winters, helps protect the vines from excess moisture, so as to never water down the flavour of the grapes or the wine in the bottle.
With my strong family connections to winemaking, I take my wine very personally. From the Phoenix Red, named after my family's original wine company of 1880, to the wine that really inspired me, the Over the Moon Rosé, because this is how I felt when I reconnected and married my Sue after a 32-year gap apart. So each wine I make is treated like a member of the family.
All that love and attention at Penley has quickly translated into gold at international wine competitions.
I've been saying to everybody here that if you go out and make your own wine and actually control what you're doing and then be able to drink your wine at the dinner table is the greatest thrill that you can ever have.
This small South Australian winery has been awarded numerous Best Wine in Show and over 47 trophies in recent years. And for Kim, in 2010, the Melbourne Age awarded him an Order of Australian Wine for services to wine and the Coonawarra.
What's more satisfying about the success of Penley is not the accolades or the applause or the press. It's more about carrying on that tradition and travelling the same path as 5 generations before me.